Namaskar. Welcome to this first session of the third Adhyaya of Sri Bhagavad Gita. We start with our gratitude towards the Lord, with whose grace everything is possible. We pray to this Guru Shishya Parampara through which this knowledge is preserved and transmitted for generations. I pay my respects to my Guruji, Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures and share this understanding with you. We start with a prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahabiryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So third Adhyaya is the Karmayoga. So let us first understand in brief what is Karmayoga. Before understanding Karmayoga, we should understand what is not Karmayoga. Just doing our regular routine actions as we are normally doing, getting in the morning, doing our routine schedule, going to work, coming back, and our routine work, the way we do it normally is just a karma. It is not Karmayoga. So Karmayoga is a definite skill which is in action as well as in results. And this skill, as we saw in the second Adhyaya, Bhagavan says, Yoga Karma Sukaushalam. This Kushalta or this Kaushalya is not just outer skill, but it is a skill in our mind. Bhagavan says, Buddhau Sharanama Anvicha. In the second Adhyaya, it's already defined what is Karmayoga, 47, 48, 49 shlokas, where he has said that it is the inner skill. It is an attitude that we need to change. So we don't need to change our actions. Whatever actions we are doing, we don't need to change them. But we definitely have to change the attitude towards two things. One is our actions, the karma, and attitude towards the fruits or the results of the action, karma phala. So these are the two areas where we have to change our attitude, and which are those attitudes with which we should work, which are those attitudes which we should have when we get the result of our work, is what is Karmayoga, and that is what Bhagavan is describing in this third Adhyaya in detailed description. And Karmayoga is normally the first step in the spiritual journey, because most of us are inclined in karma. We are eligible, we are so attached to our karma, we are disposed completely to our karma all our life, right from our childhood to our end of our life. We are all involved in karma all the time, and that's why only it is through this karma that we can take care of our karma yoga. Why karma yoga? Why do we need karma yoga in our life? That could be the first question. Definitely it is Bhagavan himself has said in the fourth Adhyaya that Gahana Karmano Gatihi. It is difficult to understand the depth of karma, karma phala. This understanding is beyond a human comprehension. It is very difficult to understand this because a lot of things we don't understand. Our Shastras tell us that there is a adrashta phala, something that we cannot see. Those phala also we get of our karma. And that's why karma, gati, how our karmas lead to what, not just this life, but even in the next life. How do we get the next life? All this, it's very difficult to understand this Gudha Artha. Only Guru can tell us what is this Karma Yoga, and that's why we need help of a Guru to understand what is Karma Yoga. And only through this Guru Shishya Parampara, through this Guru disciple lineage, this knowledge is transferred, and that's how we understand how we can do this. So karma and actions are done by everyone. We all do our actions, may it be voluntary actions, may it be involuntary actions. But Karma Yoga is done only by someone. Very few people are able to do Karma Yoga. And what are those attitudes? So the natural habit of karma is to lead to bondage, bandhana, because we do it with a lot of attachment, and that's why it creates a bondage. And Karma Yoga is the one sadhana, it is the one means which leads to freedom, which leads to mukti. So karma is keeping us, binding us when we keep moving in one direction in our life. And with the moment we start realizing that this is binding us, it is binding us, and then we start moving in the other direction. So it is also still we keep on moving, We still continue doing the karma, but then the rope which was tying us is now untwining us. We are getting released from this bondage, and this is the attitude which is called Karmayoga. So Karmayoga is the first and the foremost tool. It is the main tool for us as a main sadhana for creating purity of our antakarana, our inner mind, and causing upliftment. From where we are, we can have an upliftment, uddhara, through Karmayoga. That's why Bhagavan describes this as a prime and the first and the most important sadhana for our Shuddhi. Essentially, it is only through karma that we have to neutralize the karma, meaning that only with a thorn we can remove a thorn. Similarly, only by doing karma with a different attitude, we have to get released from the bondage of karma, and that is essentially what is Karma Yoga. So the person who keeps working, one who is a workaholic, who is doing the same thing from morning till the night, all throughout 365, 24/7, is a person who is called a karmi. He is not a karma yogi because he does everything for the desires of his own. Maybe he says that it is all because of my family I'm doing it, but essentially it is his own desire that his family should be happy, and for the very limited purpose, that person is doing the karma. However, a person who is a karma yogi, he does for the betterment of the large, for more selfless purpose, is also called nishkam karma, and the one which was previous one was called the sakam karma. So that is the main difference between the karmi and the karma yogi. With this brief introduction, let us recapitulate what was said by Bhagavan Krishna in the second Adhyaya and how the third Adhyaya starts. So the first 10 shlokas of the second Adhyaya, Arjuna keeps justifying his, he cannot fight. These are all Guruji, they are all learned, they are all very respected. And then finally in the seventh shloka, he accepts to be a disciple. And that's why the understanding is very clear. When there is a confusion, when it's we don't know what is the true, decision that we need to take in life, what to do, then it is better to accept the shishyatva. It's better to accept, being a disciple of someone, going to a learned person and asking. Here, Shree Krishna himself becomes the guru for Arjuna. And then teachings of Shree Krishna starts from the 11th shloka. Initially, it talks about the final goal for us, for the mankind, what we need to understand, what is the absolute reality of this universe. He explains, which is a summary of the Upanishads. He clearly shows what is the Atma, which is the Adhisthana, which is the basis of everything, which upholds everything on this universe, and what is that which is Anatma, which is something which is transient, which keeps changing, which is not eternal. Atma is eternal. There is something which is all keeps changing constantly. So this, he clearly differentiates between the two. Finally, he also shows that if according to our own belief, according to our own dharma, according to our own duty, according to our own belief also, we should not have grief in our life. And then he starts describing the Karmayoga principles, right, from the 39th shloka, but the main principles are described in the 47 and the 48th shloka of the second Adhyaya. And then later on, in the final part of the second Adhyaya, Bhagavan again shows the goal, the person who has achieved firm knowledge, Sthita Prajna, and those final goal in the final shloka, Brahmi Sthiti, how we can achieve that state of eternal mukti, eternal freedom. So essentially in the second Adhyaya, if we see, Bhagavan talks first about the Jnana, that is knowledge, then talks about karma, our actions, and then again talks about knowledge, Jnana, the final state. What is the characteristic or the attributes of the person who is in that firm wisdom, who is already enlightened. So with this, the third Adhyaya in Bhagavan shows all the different attitudes of Karma Yoga. So it starts with the Arjuna's question. The first shloka of the third Adhyaya starts with Arjuna's question. Questions are very welcome in Vedanta. That is a way that the knowledge is transferred by question and answers. Many of the Upanishads also have this kind of a method of teaching. There is a question, there is an answer. So it's definitely welcome, and it is a very thoughtful question because Arjuna has listened clearly, very, very sincerely to what Bhagavan has said in the second Adhyaya about Jnana, Karma, Jnana. And with this, there is now confusion in the mind of Arjuna whether I should go for knowledge, not fight this war, take sannyasa and get this knowledge that Bhagavan is talking about, or I should fight this war and do karma. So this is the first opening shloka of the third Adhyaya. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. So Arjuna asks, hey Janardana, oh the person who punishes all the wicked people in this world. Chette. Chette means if according to you, if in your opinion, karmana buddhihi jayasi. If you think that knowledge is superior to actions, and that is what Arjuna thinks, because Bhagavan said first goal is jnana, then he says Karmayoga start and then again go to jnana. So Arjuna knows now that Bhagavan is talking more glorifying the knowledge, the jnana. That's why he's asking, if according to you knowledge, if it is superior to actions, that is what Arjuna asked Bhagavan. Tat Keshava, Yatano Krishna. Here Krishna is the Guru for Arjuna. He says, Vam karmani ghore kim niyojayasi. Why? Why do you impel me? Why do you niyojayasi? Means impelling me. You are forcing me into this ghora karma, this gruesome battle. Why do you want me to fight this battle? You are already telling me, Tyaktvottishta parantapa, go sit up, stand up and fight this war. If according to you, Gnana is the best, why should I fight this war? Instead, I should retreat, go sit in the forest and get this Vidya, get this Gnana. That is the question of Arjuna to Bhagavana as an opening question. And it clearly shows that Arjuna is a very simple person. He's a very saral, rujutvat means Arjunatvat is rujutvat. He's a very simple person. He shows that he's confused. He's an ace warrior. He's one of the greatest warriors of those times. An ace archer. One of the most, could not be defeated in the battlefield. That kind of a person is now having a confusion of what to do. And this shows that he is a humble person. He's a simple person. And that itself shows the eligibility for Arjuna to attain this kind of a knowledge, this gnana from Shree Krishna. So Arjuna asks for one solution in the next shloka. He says, Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnyuyam. He says, with this Vyamishreneva vakyena means these mixed contradictory words you are using. You are buddhim mohayasiva me. He says, you are deluding, as if you are deluding my mind. Eva. He is not accusing Shree Krishna that you are deluding my mind. He said, as if these words appear to me that my mind is getting confused, it is getting deluded. I'm not able to take a correct decision. I'm not able to clearly understand what should I do. Tat ekam vada nishchitya. So that's why please give me one clear message. He says, out of these two options, Gnana, Karma, please tell me one thing that I need to do. What should I do? Whether I should fight this war or go and sit and get this knowledge. Arjuna asks, Yena aham apnuyam shreyaha, with which I can attain the highest good, shreya, which is most kalyankari for me, which is most beneficial for me. Give me one thing, tell me one thing. We normally, quite often when we are confused, we say, okay, tell me one thing, don't tell me both the things to do. Similarly, Arjuna here, who has been a sakha, been a friend of Shree Krishna for so many years, now he is a disciple. He is asking the Guru, please tell me one thing out of the two. Please don't give me two options. To which Bhagavan answers. Krishna says again, he says there are two paths and you choose one of them. Shri Bhagavan uvacha lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha gnana yogena sankhyanam karmayogena yoginam. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, oh Anaga, oh Nishpap Arjuna, you have not committed any sins. You are still very, very, Punya Atma. Asmin Loke, Bhagavan says, Dvividha Nishtha. In this world, in this universe, there are two types of committed lifestyle approaches. Maya Pura Prokta, which I have already has been said by me earlier. Pura means much earlier I have said this. Prokta Maya means by me it has been said. This is Sankhyanam Gnana Yogena. For those who are knowledge seeking yogis, those who want knowledge, those who are inclined towards knowledge, for those yogis, it is the pursuit of knowledge, the Gnana Yoga Nishtha. That is one. And he says, Yoginam Karma Yogena. Here, Bhagavan uses the word Yoginam for the action-oriented people who want to be Karma Yogis. For those people, it is the pursuit of actions, Karma Yoga. It is the Karma Yoga Nishtha. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that I have already talked about these two Nishtha. One is the Gnana Yoga Nishtha, the knowledge, for those who want to have knowledge. And for those who are action-oriented, those who feel always attracted towards action, for them, I have already said Karma Yoga Nishtha is the best. So let us understand a little bit about what our Shastra tells us, what Bhagavan is telling here. And this is a very important shloka because Bhagavan is beginning to start to tell Arjuna that there are two lifestyle approaches, two committed lifestyle approaches. We are all people, normally we are all committed to our actions. And Bhagavan is talking about those who are committed to their actions, Karma Nishtha. Karma Nishtha means who are Nishtha, having commitment to karma, to actions. And karma word in our Shastra is not just physical action, because we understand karma as just physical action. Karma, according to our Shastra, is kaik, vachik and mansik. Kaik means physical action, vachik means verbal actions, and manasika means even thinking, a thought is also karma. So commitment to our actions means we are committed to our actions. And from this, Bhagavan says there are two paths. One is a path of Karmayoga, one is a path of knowledge. Arjuna, you choose what is best for you, what is most eligible for you. And that is the beauty of our Shastra. It shows us the different paths and tells us to be eligible for the path. If I am more inclined in action, I cannot live without action. For me, Karmayoga is the best path. If somebody who is more inclined towards Nivrutti, more inclined towards knowledge, has developed Vairagya from this world, for that person, Nivrutti Marg or knowledge, Gnana Yoga Nishtha is the best. But in the further Adhyayas, Bhagavan is going to talk about, because in the 5th Adhyaya also this question will come at the beginning, the first shloka, Arjuna's question whether I should do Karma Yoga or whether I should go for Karma Sannyasa. And there also Bhagavan talks about these two paths. The confusion does not get cleared till the 6th Adhyaya. In the 6th Adhyaya, in the 3rd shloka, Bhagavan tells very clearly, Arurukshor Muner Yogam. For the person who has already Aruda on the yoga, for them, one who wants to go on to this yoga patha, for them karma is the sadhana, and one who has already reached there, for them the gnana is the sadhana. That clear confusion gets cleared. But essentially what we need to understand here is that both the paths or both the pursuits, the Purushartha Marg, the path of action and the path of knowledge, are not two separate paths. That is what we need to understand. Even if we go on the path of action, Karma Yoga Nishtha, even then the main purpose of Karma Yoga Nishtha is to get purification of our inner self, purity or Shuddhi, and from there we have to get onto the Gnana Nishtha, Gnana Yoga Nishtha, that is the path of knowledge. And the final path to reach the goal, the final goal, the sadhya, is self-knowledge, it is Gnana Nishtha, and for that we need to have a Gnana Sadhana. So even for somebody who is a Karma Yogi or somebody who is a Gnana Yogi, for them finally ultimately it's a Gnana Sadhana, the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, which is very important to understand the final goal, the self-knowledge of Gnana Nishtha. So the path of actions, the Karma Marga or the Pravrutti Marga as it is also called, it is a safe, it is a preferred path for most of us because it helps us to live where we are, to do what we are doing, and from there we have to elevate ourselves. So essentially what we need to do is to do karma with our Karma Yoga attitude, that bhavana, and Karma Yoga is the best and the safest method for upliftment. Do our actions, karma, in the best possible way. Bhagavan has already said that. And don't be attached to the fruits of actions. Asakti is the main problem. Attachment is the main issue. Bhagavan has already said that and is going to still describe it in the few next shlokas. So Bhagavan here shows two committed lifestyles, which is according to our own disposition, according to our own adhikaritva, the path of action, which is preferred because most of us are inclined in action, and the Gnana Yoga, the knowledge path. So this can also be described in the other ways. One is the Gruhastha Marg. In our ancient times, in Sanatan Dharma, Vedic lifestyle, there was this Gruhastha Ashrama. After Brahmacharya Ashrama, the next ashrama is the Gruhastha Ashrama. The Gruhastha is the householder. For them also, the goal is to reach moksha, to have liberation, mukti, and that is through pravrutti marg. That is through living in the household and doing karma, karma yoga, and then going towards vanprastha, and then finally sannyas ashram, gnana yoga, and mukti. And the second is the renunciation, the path of sannyasa marg. For somebody who already has a lot of shuddhi, has developed vivek, vairagya, and for whom only the knowledge is remaining, karma yoga is not needed. For those people, for those very few who are eligible, for them sannyasa is the answer, nivrutti marga, because this is very, very convenient for the goal, because they are released from all the other karma, duties, responsibilities of their household, and that's why they have all the time to pursue their gnana sadhana to reach the goal. So Bhagavan in the next fourth shloka is saying that just by giving up actions, we cannot achieve any goal. Na karmana manarambha naishkarmyam purushoshnute na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. So Bhagavan says, just by renouncing our actions, karma tyaga, one cannot achieve naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means the state of actionlessness. Naishkarmya. And that itself is a stage where we know our own self, our own Atma Swarupa, which is akarma. So when we know this, we know that I am akarma, Atma Swarupa. This karma happens in the anatma, in the guna, in all this prakriti. Then that stage is called naishkarmya. That itself is a moksha. That itself is a final goal. So just by doing karma tyaga, Bhagavan says we cannot achieve our naishkarmya, our goal, moksha. It is not possible. Karma is essential for everyone. And Bhagavan says that just by renouncing our life, going for just karma sannyasa, just we are fed up with our life, we just want to run away, go away into the forest, and then we'll sit there. Just by renouncing this life also alone, we cannot achieve any siddhi, siddhim samadhi gacchati. We cannot achieve any accomplishment, any siddhi, any goal, because even after karma sannyas, the purpose is to have a gnana sadhana, do that sadhana, only then we can achieve that final goal. So Bhagavan is saying, no, you cannot give up actions. Karma is the most important till your goal, you are reaching the goal. So essentially what Bhagavan is trying to say in this shloka is that karma tyaga as well as karma sannyasa does not lead to final goal, moksha. But also we need to understand that karma itself is not the direct link to moksha. How karma is linked to moksha, we will just see in a few moments. In the next shloka, Bhagavan says, without action, no one can survive for a moment. He says, nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma kruta karyate avashah karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. So Bhagavan says, without doubt, he says, kaschit, which kaschit, without performing any actions, akarma kruta, without performing any actions, no one can survive even for a moment. Jatu kshanam na tishtati. No one can survive, no person can survive even for a moment, right from our birth to our end of the life. We are constantly amidst action, right from the morning when we wake up till the time we go to sleep. We are all doing some kind of action. Even when we go to sleep, there is involuntary action going on. Our heart keeps beating, our breathing continues, all our kidney functions, liver functions, everything continues even in sleep. So we cannot live for a moment without actions. Sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. The three gunas of prakriti, the sattva, rajas and tamas, karyate hi avashya karma. They will force us, make us helpless, avashya. Avashya, we will have to get into karma because they are so strong. These raja, tama guna are so strong. Raja gun inspires us into action predominantly. Tama gun is more into inaction, laziness, whereas sattva gun is into knowledge and happiness. It inspires us. So these three gunas of prakriti, in some form or other, we all have this prakriti guna, and they will force us into action. So without action, we cannot survive even for a moment. So raga, dvesha are the main initiators of action. Bhagavan is going to tell us how we can neutralize or nullify this Raga Dvesha by using Karmayoga as the sadhana. In the 6th shloka, Bhagavan says what we should not do. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sa uchyate. So Bhagavan says karmendriyani ya sanyamya aste. One who controls his or her sense organs of action, that is karmendriya. Karmendriya sanyamya. Once we control our karmendriya, just we don't use our hands, feet, or our tongue. We just become silent or become lazy. We don't do any karma. We are and manasa smaran indriyarthan. We continue thinking about these sense objects in our mind. We keep on remembering them, that I need to have this. If I can have this, it will be better. Why not to have this thing? So these continuously we keep thinking. Bhagavan says is the biggest fool, vimudhatma, and saha mithyachara uchyate. One that is doing some false conduct. Mithyachara is a hypocrisy. We are saying something, we are doing something. Similarly, we are just not using our karmendriya. We are becoming lazy, but our mind keeps on working. Bhagavan says this is mithyachara, and this is like a showmanship. It is damba. We are showing something outside, and inside we are doing something else. And this only signifies our pride, our ahankara, that we are not able to correctly demonstrate what we want to do. And in the next shloka, Bhagavan talks about what we need to do. What is Karmayoga? He says, Yastvindriyani manasa niyam yarabate Arjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asakta savishishyate. Bhagavan says to Arjuna, but oh Arjuna, now he's showing the other part. He says, Yaha, the one person who indriyani manasa niyamya, controls his or her sense organs, our indriya, which are our gnanendriya, which imbibes all the knowledge from the outside world. And this controls by how? Manasa. Manasa means with our mind. We have to control our indriyas, our senses. And karmendriyahi, karmayogam aradbhate, means starts our actions. Karmayoga with all our karmendriyahi. Karmendriyahi are all our action senses through which we start our karma. Karmayoga. If we start, Bhagavan says, how? Asaktaha, without attachment. That is one of the main pillars of Karmayoga. The other pillar is Indriya Sanyama. Bhagavan is showing here what are the important pillars of Karmayoga. Sa Visishyate, that person is a superior person, that person is a unique person. In the eyes of the Lord, this is what we need to do. Bhagavan is showing us. So sense control, Indriya Sanyam is very important because senses or Indriyas are naturally Bahirmukha. They want to go out and feel, touch, sense all the objects, get all the information. And they are very wavering. They are very chanchala. They keep moving. They are very, very alert, all the time active. So these Vishayas, the object, the knowledge of these Vishayas is transmitted through the Indriya. They report all this to the mind. The mind processes this information and then selects different options, and over which intellect works to take the final decision, what we need to do, what we need to speak. This is how the knowledge and the karma system works in our self. So sense control or Indriya Sanyama, which is called Dhamma, is very, very important at the first step in our sadhana. And mind control, Manas Sanyama or Shama, is also important, because only with mind control, Manas Sanyama, we can develop better Indriya control. And the entire journey of a spiritual journey is to discipline, to mature our mind. And this maturity of the mind takes time and a lot of efforts. It is not something that can happen overnight by just listening to some of the shlokas, or it requires a lot of constant efforts from our side. And gradually, after some time, this becomes effortless. It becomes habitual. And this is what we see in enlightened or wise people, Mahapurusha, who's some kind of Gnani people, that they have an effortless, they have a control of their mind. This is what Gita ji teaches us to do. So anasakti, unattachment, something is a central theme of Bhagavad Gita, because these asaktis are mainly because of our strong likes and dislikes, which are called raga, dvesha. And these strong likes and dislikes are the root cause of many, many problems, and that is the central theme of Sri Bhagavad Gita. that how we can neutralize our raga dvesha. First, we have to understand what is this raga dvesha, and then we have to neutralize them. So raga is the pleasant experience, the sukha vritti, with when we connect with a thing or a person or an object, and when we get this vritti of sukha, that it is going to give me happiness, and then with this we always want more and more repeatedly. That causes an attachment, that creates more desires, and that may also create greed. Whereas dvesha is the unpleasant experience. When somebody disrespects us, then we have a dvesha vritti, dukkha vritti. We don't want that person should come to me again, tell me something, or I want to go away from that person or that thing which is giving me dukkha. And this is kind of a repulsion. And this, if keeps on piling up, can create anger and violence. So these are what works inside, behind our greed, our anger, and all these vices that we have in our mind. So raga dvesha, they stay in our mind in a very dormant state, and they get activated when the senses get these objects. They get activated and they create impressions, sanskaras, through which we habitually we act, we speak something, we get irritated, annoyed, and we speak something, and that creates a lot of conflicts. But the mind of the wise person is like a mirror, because they don't have these raga dvesha are neutralized. It is like there are no such sanskaras, and that's why there is no impressions, and they can see what is. Without getting the color of these raga dvesha, they are able to respond proactively to any given situation. The benefits of Karmayoga, main and foremost, is the purity and the peace of mind by neutralization of the raga dvesha. And it is a change in our mindset from a scarcity or a selfish perspective. We become more abundant. We think more about other people with abundant selflessness. And we work not just with, but we work out of happiness, because we understand our own nature, which is full of joy. And this maintains a rhythm and balance, not only in our mind, but even in the rest of the universe in life. So there is a lot of satisfaction in our life with inner peace of the mind, which comes with practicing Karma Yoga. In the next 8 shlokas now, Bhagavan is going to describe 4 attitudes of Karma Yoga. The first attitude is the attitude of duty or debt repayment. Second is the attitude of yagna. We'll look into all this. Third is the attitude of acceptance, prasada buddhi. And fourth is the attitude of cosmic cycle, the Srushti chakra. So let us look at each of this. 8 shloka, Bhagavan describes the attitude of duty. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmachyayoya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha. So Bhagavan says, Tvam niyatam kuru karmatvam. He says, you do whatever is prescribed for you, whatever is niyat. Niyat means whatever has been enjoined for you, whatever has been prescribed for you, decided for you, that you do it as your duty. This is something that has already come upon us where we are in our own situation. Whatever we need to do, whatever our roles and responsibilities are in our life, that is our duty. We think we have achieved this, but Bhagavan, the Shastras tell us that we have been given this. We have been bestowed this responsibility, this duty, and in whatever area that we are currently. And Bhagavan then says that karmanaha, akarmanaha karmaha jyayaha. Inaction is inferior to action. So that's why from inaction we have to spring into action. Bhagavan says action is superior to inaction. We should not become lazy. We should spring from inaction to action. Chate akarmanaha sharira yatrapi na prasiddhyeda. And one who does not perform actions, akarmana, who is lazy, does not do his roles or duties or responsibilities, sharira yatra, even our journey of our life will not be fulfilled, because at every moment in our life we need some of the karma. Morning we get up, brush our teeth, we take bath, and we have our breakfast, then we go to work. Everything requires our karma. Without karma, not a single part of our life will be fulfilled. So what is this attitude of duty in Karma Yoga? Niyatam kuru karmatvam, attitude of duty. That whatever duty that I have been given, I should do it well. Not just do it, but do it well and not as a burden. So this is the attitude. Whatever is my area of my roles, I should do it out of joy. All my roles and responsibilities, not just one, but balancing all the different roles and responsibilities that I have. And everybody needs to contribute in this universe. Everybody has been given some of the other roles, and all these dots together connect to form the universe. And this has been given to me by the Creator, by the Lord, and there is a purpose behind every duty. I may not understand what is the purpose of my being there, what is the purpose of my duty, but there is some purpose where everybody does their own role, their own duty in this universe. And according in the eyes of the Lord, there is no work which is inferior, there is no work which is superior. We believe, our thinking believes that somebody in a higher position is doing a superior work, somebody in a lower position or lower ranks is doing an inferior work, somebody who's working is a superior work, somebody is a homemaker is an inferior work. There is no such divisions. In the eyes of the Lord, all work is the same, and no work is boring because it is according to our duty that has been given to us. So whatever I do, I should do with some kind of a humility, by that grace, being a nimitta matra, that I've been given this responsibility and I must do it with the best of my abilities. And with this faith that I shall be rewarded adequately, because there is a just system of karma phala. If I do my karma well, Bhagavan has already said, you will get proper karma phala. You may not be able to see it, you may not be able to know it, but there is a just system, and I must have faith in that system which the Creator has created in this universe. The second attitude is the attitude of repaying the debt, like a runa ada, means saying thank you to the Creator for what has been done or given. So according to our Shastra, everything has been given to us right from the moment we are born. We have, the air is free, the water is free, everything that is necessary for our survival is given to us free of cost. Even in the childhood, there is somebody who puts milk in the mother's breast so that a child can feed, not remain hungry. So all these, everything has been given. And essentially, the society also, in the upbringing, lots of teachers, parents, lots of other friends, lot of other people have contributed so much for me or for us to achieve this position, to have that kind of education. Then in our work also, there are so many people who contribute to our work, and that's why it is my responsibility to repay with gratitude as my duty whatever work I'm doing, with humbleness, with humility. And I should always be eager to give back, to lessen this burden. So this is kind of a debt on me, what everybody has done, given to me so far, right from my childhood till I'm now whatever I am. And that's why I must be always aware of this responsibility of mine to give back to the society. And it is said, Guru Maharaj tells us that whenever there is right, whenever I ask for my right all the time, there is always a fight or conflict. But when I always see my duty, wherever I want to contribute what best I can do, there is always beauty in that work. And that's why our eyes, our focus must be on our duties, not just on our rights. The second attitude is the attitude of Yagna, which is also called Yagna Buddhi. In this shloka, Bhagavan describes Yagnarthat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So Bhagavan says actions which are performed without the attitude of Yagna, Yagnarthat karmanaha anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana, that causes bondage in this world for people. So Bhagavan tells us that do your actions with karma, yagna buddhi. Tadartham karma kaunteya. Tadartham means do your karma with that attitude. Karma kaunteya, ho Arjuna, ho Kaunteya, ho Kunti Putra, do your karma with the attitude of tadartham. Tat artham means offering to the yagna, as if we are putting some ahuti into the yagna, or offering to the Ishvara as the Ishwararpana Bhavana. With that attitude, you do this karma. How? Mukta Sangha, without getting attached to the results. Remain unattached to all these results. Bhagavan says Samachara, Samyakachara. Samyakachara means do it in the best possible way. All the karmas that you need to do it in the best possible way, giving utmost attention and doing it wisely, one at a time. So Yagna Buddhi, or the attitude of sacrificial offering. Yagna is like, it used to be a Vedic ritual in the Vedic times. Yagnas were very commonly performed by all people, not just sannyasis but householders also. Everything was a ritual, a yagna. Essentially, the teaching us to give, because in yagna you have to just give, and give, and then some you get some punya, some adrashta phala which you cannot see. So that's how there was this kind of a yagna buddhi. So one is the way we can understand yagna buddhi is that we offer everything to the Lord with respect. So our yagna, our karma, our actions become like a puja, becomes like a prayer to the Lord. It is worship to the Lord. So out of gratitude, out of thinking about Lord at all the times, whenever I get something, whatever phala I get, every time I remember the Lord, because it's been His gratitude that I have been able to get this, and thinking about Him, thanking Him all the time, without expectations and without any appreciation, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. In the 18th Adhyaya, Bhagavad says we offering to the Lord, to His lotus feet, all our karma. And this will help us to have, without any complaints, accepting the results as it is. That is one of the Karmayoga bhavana. And to understand this universe, this massive universe, is also a big yagna that is happening. Everybody is putting their contribution into it. I should also give my own contribution. And to contribute to this kind of a yagna means to learn to let go. Instead, we have a lot of desire to accept, to take, but here we need to learn to let go and make use of all opportunities to give selflessly as much as we can, and doing work for the benefit of others. In the process, I shall also be benefited with that faith that I shall get my due rewards. So essentially doing whatever we need to do, humbly letting go of the pride of what I am doing, what I have done, what I can do. This kind of pride we should let go. And then yagna has been practiced, Bhagavan says in the next shloka, since the creation began. Saha yagna praja srushva gurovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyatvam eshavostvishta kamadhuka. Bhagavan says when this universe was created with yagna, Brahmaji had said that anena prasavishyatvam, with all these yagna, all of you attain growth. And Eshavaha Astu Ishta Kamadhuka. Kamadhuka is that cow which will give you whatever you ask for. So these yagnas will grant you all your desired wishes. And that is how yagnas were created at the time of creation, Bhagavan says. And next he says, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsyatha. Bhagavan says, with these yagnas you will be able to please the devas, because we offer sacrifice into the yagna. All this through the Agni acts as a vehicle, and all these offerings go to the lords, the devas, the devatas, all the different devatas of different Shakti. They get all these offerings, and those devas bhavayantu vaha, they will make you happy, because they will give you all this karma phala. Because they are happy, they will share with you the karma phala. By making parasparam bhavayantaha, by making each other happy, propitious, parama shreya avapsyatha, you will achieve the final goal, the param shreya, the final goal, the moksha. That is what you will achieve. And so essentially what we need to understand is that the purity of the mind that is achieved by all the karmas, yagnas, and that itself helps us to gain that knowledge, makes us pure, to understand, to attain that gnana. And ultimately it is that through this knowledge that we attain the freedom. So there are three types of yagnas as described in our scriptures. The Adi Bhautika Yagna, where we keep in mind the Sthula Jagata, the seen world, where everything we can see, not just the beings, the people, but the things and everything that is seen, our bodies and all this physical infrastructure of this universe. But behind this there is another very huge Adi Daivika Yagna which is going on, which is unseen. We cannot see it. It's a Sukshma Jagata, something which we cannot see, which we cannot understand, but our Vedas tell us on the universal level, the Samashti, there is a system of the Devtas. For every Pancha Mahabhuta, for all five great elements, for each of these there is a Devta. Say for example, for Agni there is Surya Devta. So all these Devtas, they are the Adhisthana of that Chakshurindriya. So they control all these kind of senses on a universal level. On an individual or a Vyashti level, all our Indriya, Mana, all these are also controlled through this through these devtas and all these forces that are acting. So this is something which we cannot see, but there's a huge unseen sukshma jagata. And beyond all this chara, achara, all this, there is akshara purusha, which Bhagavan talks about in the 15th Adhyaya, that akshar purushottama yoga, where it says there is this adhyatma, that is the third, the spiritual, the basis of all. And this, it's our responsibility of our individual to contribute to this universe in some way or the other, because these universal yagnas are already going on. So actions that we do with this yagna buddhi reminds us to think of others, becoming selfless, helps us to give back to society for what I have received, does not create bondage with selfish actions, and shows me a better way, a higher way where I can go, shows me one option, and helps me to lessen my pride, understanding that I am nothing in this, and whatever I am doing is very minuscule, and I have been fortunate to be in this position to do whatever I can. With this, my mind becomes more calm. I develop some kind of an inquisitiveness, inquiry to understand this knowledge of this existence, the divine knowledge, which will help me become free from these limitations. So all these Vedic yagnas today cannot be done, but Vedas also talk about Pancha Yagna, the 5 yagnas which we can do even today. Essentially, the first one is the Deva Yagna, devotion to the Lord, where we spend some of our time in Seva, Puja, seeing Ishvara everywhere, seeing divinity in all the human beings, all the creatures everywhere. Pitru Yagna, repaying our debts to our forefathers by doing some kind of rituals. But today we can also respect our parents and do this Pitru Yagna. Brahma Yagna, repaying our debts to the Rishi Munis who were mantra drashta and through whom this knowledge, the scriptures and shastras were there. Today we can repay the debt by study of the scriptures, we can repay the debt. Manushya Yagna, helping people. In the older times there were no hotels, so wherever guests used to come, those were considered to be God. But nowadays helping our neighbors, our friends, and inspiring young people can be a Manushya Yagna. And Bhuta Yagna means helping other species apart from humans, other animals, birds. In a lot of households, homes, always the birds and the animals are fed first before people consume their food. So essentially it is helping the other species, that is a Bhuta Yagna. Now, Bhagavan says that being selfish, there is no upliftment. Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yagna bhavitaha tairdattana pradayaipyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. Bhagavan says devtas who have been delighted by the yagnas will give you some desired fruits of your desire, of your actions. And those fruits, if you enjoy alone without sharing with anyone, then Bhagavan says, Tena evasa, that person is a thief, because he only keeps taking these fruits. He does not like to share, does not like to give. Essentially, in the eyes of the Lord, giving and taking, giving with one hand, taking with other hand is always better, or taking with one hand and giving with the other is always better than just keep taking with two hands, being selfish, just consuming everything, just fulfilling ourselves, possessing and overproducing everything, or is not a good option in the eyes of the Lord. And then Bhagavan is showing the third attitude of Karmayoga, Prasada Buddhi. Yagna Shishtashina Santo Mujyante Sarva Kilvishaihi Bhunjate Te Tvagam Papa Ye Pachantyatma Karana. Bhagavan says, whatever remains after this yagna, karma, prasada, that yagna shishta, ashina. Shina means one who consumes this, one who eats this, that great man. Santa means that great Mahapurusha who eats this. Sarva kilbishai buchyante is relieved of all the sins. Ye papaha, those sinful people, pachanti atma karana, those who cook only for themselves. In a sense, it means that those who work only for their own selfish motives or selfish gains, they tu agham papaha bunjate, they eat only their papa, sins. There's nothing more they do, and that's why Bhagavan is telling us to have a prasada buddhi, this attitude of acceptance. Prasada buddhi essentially is to see that karma phala is a prasad which is offering from the Lord. My department is only karma, karmanyavadhikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana. Phala is not my department, that is the department of the Lord who gives me, and I must look it as a prasad. When we go to temple and accept prasada, prasad is essentially offering that we get from the temple. It is always accepted as it is, and it is even small proportion. We always share and eat it. We never complain about it. We like it, we enjoy it, we love it, and that is what is the prasada buddhi. So while doing karma, we need Ishwararpana Bhava, being egoless, humble, and while receiving the results of the fruits of the action, we need to understand this acceptance, prasada buddhi, which relieves our raga dvesha, where there is no expectation, no complaints for results. We just accept whatever comes to us. We are neither sukhi nor dukhi. Maybe we'll have some sukha dukkha, but we are not engrossed into it. And with this, we be large-hearted. We share and care this prasada that comes to us, and that is for the larger benefit. And this helps to clean our mind, purify ourselves, and attain peace and happiness in our life. And finally, then in the 14th shloka, Bhagavan is describing the fourth attitude of Karmayoga, which is called Dharma Buddhi, or maintaining the cosmic cycle that is going on, the Srushti Chakra. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavaha yagnad bhavati parjanyo yagna karma samudbhavaha. Bhagavan says, Bhutani bhavanti. And finally, then in the 14th shloka, Bhagavan is describing the fourth attitude of Karmayoga, which is called Dharma Buddhi, or maintaining the cosmic cycle that is going on, the Srushti Chakra. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavaha yagnad bhavati parjanyo yagna karma samudbhavaha. Bhagavan says, Bhutani bhavanti annat. All the beings are born from food. Normally we know that our life is sustained only by food, and that's why this physical body is also called Annamaya Kosha. Out of all the 5 sheaths, the first sheath, that physical body, is called Annamaya Kosha because it is created from Anna, from food. Then Bhagavan says, Anna Sambhava Parjanya. Food is produced by Parjanya. Parjanya means rains. So food is produced by rains. We all know that when there is a rain, there is a harvest, and all this harvest leads to food production. Parjanya bhavati yagnat. Bhagavan here says rain is created due to yagna. Now we may say that no, rain is a very natural thing. It is not created by yagnas, but it is to be understood that the right yagnas will create the right rain at the right time. Rain is a natural thing, but having the right kind of rain at the right time is a matter of having yagna, adrashta phala, punya phala, and that creates the ativrushti or right rains. So that is what needs to be understood. Yagna karma samudbhava. All the yagnas are performed by karma, by actions. That is all very understood, easily understood, that we perform actions to create a yagna, and all the yagnas are by actions. Now Bhagavan is again showing that link, that karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Karma is done as per all the Vedas. Here Brahma means the Vedas, because Brahma Udbhava. You cannot say Brahma, it doesn't mean the eternal Brahma here. It means the Veda, because Bhagavan says, no, that karma are all done as per the Vedas. Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. And Vedas are created from the Akshara Brahma. Akshara Brahma is the eternal Brahma. And from this, the Vedas are created, because Vedas are already called Apaurushaya. They are not written by any humans. They are Apaurushaya. They are like given as a manual from the Lord at the beginning of the creation. Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. Therefore, this omnipresent Brahma, which is everywhere. Brahma is the eternal, omnipresent Akshara Brahma. Nityam Yagne Pratishtitam, is always firmly rooted in all the yagnas. That is what Bhagavan is trying to tell us, that all the yagnas are all nothing but Ishvara, Brahma. That is what Bhagavan is telling us. We need to understand this. And that's why in the 4th Adhyaya, Bhagavan says, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavya Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is also understanding all the yagnas. Bhagavan is going to show in the 4th Adhyaya different types of 12 different types of yagnas. And then he shows that everything is yagna. In Brahma, everything is yagna buddhi. So what are those actions and what are these dharma karma? What is the difference between karma and dharma karma? Karma are done mainly for our own fulfillment of our desires, our selfish desires, whereas dharma karma is done for the larger benefit of the society, and in the process I will also be benefited. Actions of karma are done with strong likes, dislikes, whereas the dharma karma are done without rag and dvesha. It is not according to my raga dvesha, but what I need to do, I am doing it. What is described in the scriptures, what I need to do, what is the right thing to do, I am doing it. Normal karmas lead to bondage, whereas dharma karma leads to freedom, because they are not done with the raga dvesha, but they are done devoid of the raga dvesha. Actions of karma may lead to destruction in the form of greed, it could be anger, violence, anything because of excessive karma. But here the dharma karma leads to upliftment because it creates punya and leads to elevation of the humankind. The regular karmas don't benefit others, but dharma karma, they benefit others. So these are some of the differences. And then Bhagavan is also describing this universal harmony, how we need to maintain this universal harmony, the Srushti Chakra that is going on. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayaha aghayurindriya ramo mogham partha sajivati. Bhagavan says, the one that does not perform his or her duties in this cosmic will, evam pravartitam chakram, this cosmic wheel is going on since ages. And Bhagavan says, one na anuvartayati, one who does not perform his duties accordingly as per the duties that are given to that person, indriyaram ayuhu, is living in his or her own sense organs, indriyaram, who is just involved, committed to his own senses, does not do anything according to the shastra or what is right thing to do or morality, but leads to all the sins, aghayuhu, leads a very selfish life. Mogam partha sajivati, that person who is always in the bhoga, vritti parayana, that person is living a useless life in the eyes of the Lord. He does not achieve anything meaningful in life. The entire life of that person is a waste in the eyes of the Lord. Mogam partha sajivati, that person. And this Srushti Chakra, universal cycle that Bhagavan is describing, is at a cosmic level. In the universe, we see that there are so many solar systems, so many planets which goes around the earth, and all this chakra, Srushti Chakra, goes on continuously. Similarly, in the microcosm, also we see that in our human body, there's so many organs, they all work in tandem, in coordination with each other. Even if we see at the molecular level, there is a nucleus and the electrons, they go around and all this, continuously this cycle keeps on going on. And humans are the only beings or the animals which have an independent power to think and act. This free will that is given to us can become our biggest asset or our biggest liability, because through which we can attain the eternal, and through which, if we don't act properly, we can cause destruction to this universe. So if a person acts in a selfish manner without thinking of others, but we should actually, if we don't think about the long term, we will definitely destroy the environment. That's why humans have to be given all these sermons for doing the right kind of action, Karmayoga. The other animal species have all natural spontaneous actions and need not be told what to do, what not to do. So humans have a very important role to maintain this Srushti Chakra, or the cycle, the cosmic cycle, the universal cycle that is going on. And that's why we have the Vedas for us. So the Vedic life, the Sanatana Dharma, which used to be practiced in our ancient times, was very closely associated with the nature and its preservation. Essentially, it was closely associated with attaining Ishvara in our life. That was the ultimate goal of our life. And people used to worship the 5 great elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, which also come from the Ishvara, and through which all the beings and all this Srushti is born. So every moment was a spiritual journey for achieving our goal. It was never selfish. They always used to think of all the other species also, not just about their own species. But the modern life is full of artificials, chemicals, fertilizers, all the, we know it, all the pollution that we have created. And that's why the harmony in the universe is threatened by the climate change that has happened. And that's why we need to think of the resources for the future generations, what we are going to leave back as a legacy for the next generation. So summarizing the attitudes of Karmayoga, Karmayoga is the safest and the best instrument to use for our own purity and upliftment. It starts with from akarma, from inaction. Bhagavan says first go into action mode, get into karma, then from karma, again now start thinking whether you are doing according to dharma, according to adharma, whether you are doing according to your own likes and dislikes, or you are doing according to what needs to be done and what need not be done. And then we have to think about our kartavya karma, our duty, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Along with this, there should not be any compromise with the values of our life. It must be dharma karma, according to the values that have been enshrined in our scriptures. And while in action, we must be having Ishwara Samarpana, offering to the Ishwara as an offer to the Ishwara. It's a karma, as Guru Ma says, is a very sthula, very physical thing. How can you offer it to Ishwara? Essentially, she says, only Samarpana is, Smarana is Samarpana. Means that when you think of the Lord, when you do your actions, that itself is like offering that action to the Lord. So that's why, acceptance of the fruits of the action, svikara buddhi, as it comes to us, whatever it comes to us, we accept it as a prasada. We share these fruits with all our team members, and more the acceptance, more is the peace of mind. We always feel that more, we accept the reality of the situation, we will be at peace of our mind. So, just to recapitulate the steps of the journey that Bhagavan is describing here, Karmayoga is the first step in the journey. Here in Geeta Ji, bhakti or devotion is not considered a separate step. Bhagavan is only showing two, lokesmin dveda anishta, showing two committed lifestyles, paths. But in Bhagavad, if you see, three committed lifestyles are given: karma, bhakti, and gnana nishtha. All the three. Here in Geeta Ji, bhakti is considered to be part and parcel of Karma Yoga, because in Karma Yoga we need the acceptance of Ishvara. Without Ishvara acceptance, there is no Karma Yoga. With that understanding, if we do our karma, that only it is Karma Yoga. So karma plus bhakti is Karma Yoga in essence, and devotion is a part and parcel of Karma Yoga. If we talk of Bhakti Yoga, all that we do in bhakti, maybe puja, archana, kirtan, or maybe some kind of whatever bhakti we do, it all involves karma. So that's why karma and bhakti are inseparable parts of our understanding or offering ourselves to the Lord. And this forms the first step of our spiritual journey. This is to be done with vivek, vairagya, sham, adi, shat, sampatti, mumuksha, with an intense desire for liberation, where we first need to neutralize our raga, dvesha, mada, moha, matsarya, jealousy. All these our vices need to be neutralized, and this helps in cleaning our mind, antakarana shuddhi, which is the first step, the most important step, which is before going on to atmagnana. And before doing our shuddhi, we cannot go to atmagnana. We cannot understand what Bhagavan is trying to tell us. Only with the karma yoga as the first part of the sadhana, then the next part of the sadhana starts, that is the path of knowledge. Bhagavan says Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana are the three ways where we have to take care, relieve our ignorance, ajnana of our Atma Swarupa, that itself will show the Atma Gnana, will become, it is self-effulgent, it is self, it illuminates self by its own self, but it is covered by this ajnana, this ignorance. All this we need to peel off layer by layer, and gradually what remains is that Atma Swarupa, our own self, which is nothing but the eternal self, the Brahma Swarupa. And this eternal consciousness and our consciousness is one and the same. That is what is the essence of all the message of our Vedas and Upanishads, that everything is divine. There is not just one divinity, but there is just divinity. It is just one, and which is the existence, which is the basis of everything that is being upheld in this universe. So with this, we're coming to the end of this session. We'll just summarize the first session of the third Adhyaya. Starts with Arjuna's very thoughtful question, whether I should do Gnana or Karma. According to you, Gnana is Shrestha. Why are you pushing me into Karma? He asked Shree Krishna, to which he answers, Arjuna asks for one solution. He says, don't confuse me with your mixing and contradictory words. Give me one. Tadekam vadanishchitya. Bhagavan is saying, Lokesmin Dvividanishta. I have shown two paths so far, has been said by me earlier. You have to choose one that you are most eligible with. Do not give up actions, Arjuna. Karma is very, very important. By just living actions, you cannot achieve moksha. Even without action, nobody can survive even for a moment. So karma is essential part. But karma, how do we not need to do it? not by hypocrisy, not by becoming lazy, but then Indriya keeps on thinking about those objects. But we must need to do Karma Yoga by Indriya Sanyama and being anasakta, unattached to all these that we can see around. And this is how we need to do Karma Yoga. And then it describes the four attitudes: attitude of duty, niyatam kuru karmatvam; attitude of yagna buddhi in four shlokas; attitude of acceptance, prasada buddhi, yagna shishta santu; and then the universal cycle, the dharma buddhi, or the srushti chakra, annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat dhamma sambhava. So with this we come to the end of the first session of the third Adhyaya. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parah Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.